story, one of the greatest stories ever told. That's wonderful. You know what? These 4 weeks of Advent, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 weeks of Advent, we have been counting our way to Christmas, haven't we? We have lit all the Advent candles. Can you see them back here? How many candles do we have burning? How many? 4. This is the 4th Sunday of Advent, and Christmas is almost here. And all this time, we've been using a word called behold. Did you hear it in the story today? Jaden, when did you say behold? Say it again. Just the first few. Behold, do not be afraid. That is one of the greatest lines that's ever been given. And there was another part on the second one when you said, good news of great joy for all the people. Behold, that's the story that you just told to us. They are words of a promise. Now, I want you as angels and shepherds and kings and narrators to think about what is a promise. What's a promise? You might keep a secret. That's one way. What's another way to do a promise? Keeping your word, isn't it? What's another way to do a promise? Can you think of anything? Yeah. Don't tell anyone. Let's see if we can get some help from out here. What's another way to keep a promise? Come on. Follow through. Come on. You make promises all the time. Crossing your heart. What other ways to make a promise? What about if you decide that you're going to be a friend with someone and you promise to be best friends forever? Right? Give me 5. Thanks. Or what about agreeing to do something for someone? Isn't that kind of like a promise? When people get married, they promise to love and care for each other. And there's another really special kind of promise that we do here at church, and that's when people are baptized. And people come together and they promise to live their Christian faith. There's all kinds of promises, and today we're celebrating the most special promise of all, and that is God's promise to be with us. Have you heard us say the word Emmanuel this Advent or today? Anybody know what Emmanuel means? It means Jesus. It's another name for Jesus, and it has 3 words that mean Emmanuel. It means God with us. Can you say that with me? God with us. That's Emmanuel. That means God is promising to be with us always. Now, we heard some promises in your story. Let's see if we can remember them. There was the promise that Angel Gabriel made when she said to Mary, who's hiding behind the manger. Mary, stand up so we can all see you. Thank you. Just stand there for a minute. When Gabriel says to Mary, I am with you. Don't be afraid. You are the favored one. The Lord is with you. What a promise. Isn't that a great promise? Now stay standing, Mary, because Mary says a promise back. And Mary's promise is, she promises to God, I promise to be with you according to your word. So God with us makes a promise to Mary, and Mary makes a promise right back. And then there's Joseph. Stand up, Joseph. There he is. God makes a promise to Joseph as well. Did you hear Angel Gabriel say, I am with you now, and I will be with you again soon in the form of a child you will name Jesus. I know you're afraid, but don't be, for I am with you. Joseph, thank you. You can sit down. So wherever Joseph has to go, whatever he has to do, he has the promise of God with us, Emmanuel. Now, Mary and Joseph, stand up. They make a promise to each other. Joseph makes a promise to Mary and says, I am with you. I'm going to ride this donkey. Oh, we have a donkey. Donkey. I'm going to ride this donkey, and I'm going to be with you no matter what. I am not afraid because God is with me. A great promise. Okay, you all can sit down. So it's like promise by promise by promise, our Advent story grows. God says, I am with you through the prophets and through the angels, and pretty soon, from a cry in a baby in the manger. Mary? Mary? Could we see the baby? Pretty soon there'll be a cry from that baby in about 4 days from now. Another promise. And you know what? In all of this, whether you're dressed as you are today, or whether you're dressed every day in your everyday clothes, we make promises to God all the time. Because that's what Mary did, that's what Joseph did, that's what the people who are hoping do, and that's what we do as we're looking forward to Jesus being born. So when we go from a stable to our homes today, we know that when we are happy or sad or anything in between, God is with us. What's that word that starts with E? Emmanuel. God with us. It's a living story. It's a living story about God's love. It lives just like you shared it with us today, and it lives right here in our hearts every day. It's in the shepherds and the angels and the three kings and the narrators and all of us together. It's a living story about God being with us every day. So here's the last thing I want to say. I want you to listen really carefully. Everybody listen really carefully. Wherever and whenever we receive God's love, and whenever and wherever we give God's love to someone else, and whenever and wherever God's love is accepted and shared, that's Christmas. Thanks be to God for being with us all the time. And thanks be to you for sharing the story with us today. And everyone together says, Amen.